All right, so I contacted the guy who sold me this transformer, and he said he used the wrong pictures. And if I had looked at the pictures more closely, I would have realized that it was the wrong transformer. See, uh, this box here, if you were to zoom in on this end flap, if you could read it online, you could see it was the wrong transformer. But I didn't. It said new in box. And I think it's called the 68X something, which is the isolation transformer. So, I read the title of the ad on eBay and I double checked it. I needed 68X, whatever it is. Double checked that. But I didn't look at the pictures. The guy took the pictures. Now, he says new in box. Okay, it's a new transformer in a box. Right? And the box matches the transformer. All right, that's what he said. Now, this box here is old. This transformer looks very new. And why is there tape on the leads? See if you can see the tape, okay? Why are there terminals on the lugs? Now, this is not a new transformer. This has been pulled out of salvaged out of something maybe that's going to be recycled. The guys on eBay, I don't know where you got the box from. The box does match the transformer. I'm going to tell you, I mentioned a few times how slick these guys are. And if you ever did ham flea markets, you'll walk along and you'll find something. And the guy wants a lot of money for it. And he jumps in and he starts telling you it's in really good shape. He's telling you all this stuff. He wants a lot of money. You start looking at it. If you know what you're looking at, you notice the knobs aren't correct because those knobs are on another unit. I learned this years ago to a certain level, but I never got as good as some of these guys. And they're always well dressed too at a flea market or ham flea market. The guy that looks like he'll help you push your car off the road, that's the guy you want to buy from. And a lot of times he'll say, I don't know what it is. Somebody gave it to me and make me an offer. That's the honest guy. I don't know what it is. I got it from someone for free. And now make me an offer. That's who you want to buy from. Now, out here, I don't have that ability. And then the other thing, too, is you talk to the guy for a while about maybe other things, and you get a feel for the guy's honesty, what the guy's all about. And the guys that are going to cheat you, they cut you off after so many seconds. Do you want to buy that? Well, I'm thinking, all right, you're off. He's moved on to the next person coming by. There's a difference in people. And I learned all that. And then I also learned that a lot of guys, when you're hanging out with the ham radio guys, they got a lot of crap. And they'll tell you, I'm never going to be able to get rid of this. And hey, guys, just make me an offer. And I buy a few things, and the guy goes, here, you want this? Take this. I had a guy one time give me a bunch of memory modules. He says, these things are brand new. They don't work. So I took them, figuring I could unsolder the modules or the chips and change it and make them on. When I got them home, I found out that they went through wave soldering, and a lot of the pins it missed. So all I had to do was resolder the ICs to the little modules, and they all worked. He also gave me keyboards, and in the keyboards, someone had plugged them in while the computer was on. Whatever they did, they blew. There was a fuse in keyboards. I take that back. The fuses were on motherboards. He says all these motherboards have the same problem. So I took them home, put them on. I troubleshot it down to a keyboard fuse. And that I went and I told the guy at the computer store a certain error, and he was able to fix a few motherboards that the keyboard. But the guy gave me he goes, take these motherboards. Maybe you can, take parts off of one and make one. It turned out to be fuses. That guy was nice. He gave me the modules. He basically was selling the computers from his store that didn't work, where other guys that were there were selling computer stuff they knew didn't work. Because most people will buy a circuit board, and it'll never see a computer. That's what they learned, and I'm starting to go to a new level of how the guys are. And when you catch them, like this guy here, oh, I had the wrong pictures. Well, I didn't look at the pictures. You look real quick to see that there is a box, there is a transformer, and then you look at the title, and it's 68 and whatever the thing is. I'm not spending all day on what did I say this thing was? $33 with tax and everything. So basically, I have a used transformer, and when I took it out of the box, it was wrapped in bubble wrap. That's wrong. When you take an old transformer out of a Triad box or a Thorensen or I can't think of the other ones right now, but they're in this fluffy brown paper, and it's a shock absorbent. It's almost like the tissue paper that's in the shoes, only it's brown. And that's what you get. This opened up, and it was in bubble wrap, and it was really wrapped good. And they don't come in bubble wrap. That's the other thing. But these guys are out there. And whenever I make a warning video like this, I always get a lot of thumbs down. The dealers, they travel around, they looking, and they don't like anybody traveling around or doing videos and warning people. Watch out for this. Watch out for that. They don't like us guys. We had a guy at work, and we would be buying like videotapes, VHS videotape. And I was going to this one place, and the guy turns to me, says, "Don't go there." He goes, "Go over to Theater Vision. He has a whole load of VHS tapes. I can't think of the name of the company right now. It was a division of RCA, and I knew that. And I went there, and he had the tapes. VHS tape normally goes for $22. He had tapes for 12 each, and they were brand new in boxes. I went over there and I said, "Do you have any of those tapes?" "Oh yeah, I got a whole bunch of these." Nobody wants them because they didn't have. They had a generic. They didn't have a generic name. They had a name of a company that stopped making VCRs on them, and I got them, and I was using them all the time. And then later on, a guy told me about Fuji tape, and it was much better. But I had a video club, and somebody had a speck of grime in their unit, and when they would play the tape, it would put a crease in the tape, and it would put a line across the screen, right to left, with fuzziness in it. And I finally figured out who it was, and it was the guy that complained the most about the video club. But it's just everything is a job, everything is a task, everything's a song and a dance. My mother used to say, you should be able to go to the store and buy something. It shouldn't always be a song and a dance. I very rarely take a coupon with me. Because they look at, oh, this coupon's expired, it's in real tiny letters. Or you buy a bag of candy and there's a coupon in it, but it's not for the candy you eat. It's to try something else that in 3 months isn't going to be on the market anymore. But I'm very particular when I buy stuff. I don't buy a used transformer, because a used transformer, the leads will be cut short. You got to play games with it. So I'd go a couple dollars more, and it's still a used transformer, and they're good. These guys are good at it, And like the guy said, if you had looked at the pictures, yeah, if I really looked at the pictures, I would have saw the terminals on the wire and the tape on the wires, and I would have known the guy's a liar. But I didn't. I was just, let me order that, get it done now, so it'll be here on time, so I can put the power supply together. So when I start troubleshooting the radio, I'll be able to power it up. How funny is that's just the way it goes. And I look and I look and I look for other hobbies. So I got into VHS, DVD movies, and I'd go up to the Goodwill, and you go in there and they're almost all gone. They would just go through it and just throw them out or put them in the big bin. And then they bring in more. They have a guy that goes through them and pulls out the most popular movies, and then they go online for sale. So you go to Goodwill store, you get movies that might be very new, only because they have so many of them there, and they'll put them out on the floor and you can buy it. I was asking the guy, I said, there's certain movies that have been around for a long time. You don't have any of them. He says, we go through these. And he says, we pull certain ones out that we know are going to sell, and that's what you're looking for. I said, yeah. He says, no. He says, we pull them out. And he says, every so often we just throw all these out or blue bin them or whatever. They put them in this bin, and then nobody takes them out in a few days. Then they go in the garbage. But so I found another hobby, never thinking it's going to be shyster. And then the last one I tried to order the straight story, which is the guy that he lost his license because of his eyesight, and he wants to go to his brother's house and say he's sorry and get back friends with his brother. And he didn't want to send a letter; he wanted to actually visit him. So the only way he could do it was to drive the tractor. It's called The Straight Story. The guy's name is Straight, and he drives across the country on a tractor with a little trailer on the back. It's a nice story. So it comes to me one day, so I go on eBay and I ordered the thing. And 2 weeks later, it's still not here. Turns out this guy, that's what he does. He lists a bunch of movies he doesn't even have. He strings you along. Oh, and when you go to click on his negatives, another page comes up. He figured out how to bring another page up. Well, if you do it a certain way, that page doesn't pop up, and you see he's got thousands of negatives. He didn't have the tape, and he still took my money. I said, that's what happened to me. So I went right to eBay, and I told him, I said, if you go on his page, you see he's covered his negatives with a pop-up page. Well, anyway, they gave me my money back right away. But everything I'm trying, something's going wrong. I have I have a Hobby Lobby around the corner. Now, when you go through a Hobby Lobby, uh, the materials that you used to be able to buy, they don't have anymore. They have a complete sort of a kit with paint, and you glue two or three things, and then they give you the paints and you finish. It's like a craft, not even a hobby thing. And I walked around, and they did have like a guy section, they had a little tiny train section, and I left there, and I talked to other people, and they said, that's what people are doing. They don't have the time to really get into a hobby. And I realized that. I have a hobby that's really very obscure. Uh, you go on YouTube, and there are a lot of people repairing radios. But did you ever find one of them at a yard sale or when you're talking to somebody? I've lived in New Jersey. I lived here. I meet a lot of people. I talk to them. I'm the only person that can repair a radio. Oh, I bump into the people that want me to fix their radio, but I never met another guy where I could say, where are you getting your parts? And even when I worked with technicians, there was only one other guy that repaired TVs and radios for other people. And everybody would just go see him. When a new guy would come in, think about it, a technician comes in, and I have a radio don't work. Go see this guy. Go see this guy. Well, you're supposed to know how to repair. Well, I don't have time. See, everybody was just, they don't have time. They don't know how. Because when you talk to them about other stuff on their job, they don't know what they're doing. And it's just the way it is. It's just, see, you can go through life with a certain amount of intelligence, and companies will hire you because you're in the right age group. And then after you get older, starting to get older, they want a little more experience. And then after that, they don't want you at all, unless they absolutely have to hire you. It's the whole game is rigged. eBay's rigged. I don't know people that buy radio parts from eBay, but I know people that get their motorcycle and car parts from eBay, and they'll tell you, yeah, I saw the picture. It was the part I wanted. I ordered it, and the guy sent it somewhere else. And he goes, "What's?" I said, "I'll tell you what that is." He says, he ships an empty box to his friend's house, and that's the tracking number that he gives you. So you track the empty box coming across the country, and then it goes to the guy's house, and he takes it out of the mailbox, and then he throws it out. Meanwhile, that guy's got your money, and then you got to go through this rigmarole, and by the time this guy does just so many sales, he's gone. And he gets so many negatives, but there's ways to work around this when you're a scam artist. But this one guy goes, I never got the product. I said, yeah, that's the stuff I'm talking about now. They send you, they tell you one thing. One time I bought 2 rolls of tape, and the guy accused me of scamming. He sent me 1 roll. And I said, dude, go back and look at the shipping charge. I knew he was a dealer, and that's all it took. He sent me the other roll of tape. See, he's scamming you by selling you one roll of tape. And then when you say you only send me one roll, he's calling you the scam artist to get you to back down. But then you say to him something like, go check your shipping charge. You'll see that the weight uh, is too low for two rolls. And the guy, he ended up saying, he bitched and moaned, but then he sent me a unit. He knew I wasn't scamming him. And the funny thing is, the tape was, it's sort of, I think it was white, what do you call it? Tape. What the hell is it? Not masking tape. Well, anyway, instead of it being one color, black, it turned out to be white. And that's what I wanted, so I have less painting. And by the time I got the parts together to build this one project, I didn't start it. It was so stupid. I went with the helicopter instead of the glider. Plus, I'm near a school. I can't put anything up in the air so many feet. Even the airplane that comes over here, it basically goes around the school. You can't fly over a school. You can't fly. I'm also near an airport. I can't fly like drones. You're not supposed to fly a drone around here. But anyway, they changed the rules as I'm starting to build this project. And I said, let me get the helicopter instead, and I could fly it inside the house and get good at that. But yeah, it's amazing what I go through. And every time I start a project, I'm like, okay, this project, like when the radio, if you watch my videos, when the radio gives me a really hard problem, that's only part of the hobby. The other part is trying to get the parts. And I told you, if you buy a radio that's really rare and there's knobs or the wrong knobs, something's broken in the radio. Now that you saw that Hellcrafters, now someone told me that I should have used another company for the gear. That gear is a clock gear. It's not an industrial gear, and it's from back in the 40s. Yeah, back in the 40s. And I ended up repairing the gear itself by putting a splint on it. You just can't solder something if there's not enough meat. You got to actually put a splint. Anyway, I fixed that gear, got that radio back. That guy, when he sold it to me, he knew that gear was broke, but he didn't know all the capacitors in the radio would also be bad. I don't mean slightly leaky. I mean most of them were shorted. So. But you got to be careful what you buy on eBay. And it's, a lot of the stuff, look carefully, where is it? It says it's in the United States, but it's not. It's in China. And you wait, and then it comes that air post, whatever it's called, from China. And, I watch all that. I don't want any more of the Chinese junk, because when you email them back with a problem, they can't speak English. I've gone through that. There was one recycling center in California, and I ended up buying 4 oscilloscopes to be able to make 3. And the guy was taking a picture of one scope and sending me a different one. It was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. And then I realized he couldn't speak English, and I'm like, okay. So I went a different route. I ordered a scope from somebody else, and then took the parts to fix 3. And I have 3 scopes. And the reason I have 3 is just I was buying things in 3s. And the other thing I wanted, when I turn the scope on, if it don't work right, I'll push it off to the side and I bring in another scope. I don't want to stop what I'm doing to figure out what's wrong with the oscilloscope. But I just wanted to cover you. Yeah, here it is, new in box. It didn't hit me right away. I'm not as sharp as I was. When you get older, you're like, why does that have terminals on? Then you look at the other side, and these leads are taped up. I'm like, what did he do? Make a choke out of this thing? This could have been a project for someone. You used the primary of this transformer as a choke to choke out the AC ripple on a DC line. I think that's it. All right, that's it.